So we have a teshuva here where they're asking Moshe Feinstein if it's permissible to move a dead person in order that the children are able to go to the kever, are able to go to the grave. Sometimes, Erev Chag Shavuos. This is from Rav Yitzchak. Now, there are only a few reasons why you're allowed to move someone once they're buried. For example, if there's a tzivoi of the dead person where they have some type of request that you're trying to fulfill, or move them to a better place if they're in a beside Rishoyim, or if they are moving to Eretz Yisrael, these type of reasons. So Moshe finds when I discuss these reasons of if this applies here. You need a bedavar to change the Aaron, so to move the coffin of the father from Akron. So Akron is a place in Ohio. Moshe finds used to be a rabbi in Ohio, to New York, that in order that the children who are found in New York are able to then visit the kever, because it's difficult for them to travel to Akron, Ohio, to go to the kever as they do, as where it is now, as people are noiheg to go to kevarim, to go to graveyards and burial plots. So it's pashaj al sha'asr. So the psak here is that it's also you can't move them. To move this, because it's not the kavod amaze, ele lahakel al habanim. So here we have that Moshe Feinstein saying that there's no kavod amaze involved when the children come to visit the grave of the father. And the only reason, what's the benefit of going to visit a grave? It's the benefit of the children. So when they want to go to the graves of their fathers, so then being in New York, it's easier for them to get there. But etzem, the whole matter itself, the whole matter of going to the graves of the fathers is not a chiyuv. There's no chiyuv to do that at all. And further, in the writings of the Arizal, that's brought down in the Magen Avraham over here, ein leilech klal the Beis HaKavoros. You shouldn't go at all to the Beis HaKavoros, even for the manner of going to the visiting the kever of the fathers. So the two dinim here, one is going to a graveyard. So the Arizal says you shouldn't go to a graveyard at all. And then there's the manner of visiting the graves of your fathers. So it says that even if the reason you're going to the graveyard is for that, then you shouldn't do it. So here is the Magen Avraham, which is on the Shulchan Aruch here, Noigim, this is on Tisha B'Av, that until Achar Chutzois you don't do Shchita and you don't prepare the meals for the pre-fast. So here in the Hagan, the Ramah, and you go to the Kavaris immediately when you leave the basic Knesset. So on this, the Magen Avraham says even that the dead are also mitzdarim, so that the dead also have the pain for Shabbat, and therefore it doesn't help if you go to the Kavaris Akum. That says the Shlo, so don't go to the kevers of the Goy. However, if there's no kever of the Jew, you go to the kever of the Goy, as we see. But it's ksav in the Kisvei Arizal that you don't go to the kevaris only for the Levias Ames. So when the person's being buried, that's when you go to the base kevaris. We don't go other than that. And specifically, if you haven't fixed up your sin of being a Balkari, and then it's mitbakim bochachitzonim at kanashana in the Arizal, that if you have issues with keri, so then going to the graveyard you'll become a magnet for the chitzonim. Anyway, back to the Shuvah, Rav Moshe Feinstein is taking this as the Arizal said don't go to the Beis Kavarim, and the fact that it's brought down in the Magen Avraham, therefore it gives it like a level of psak, a level of halacha, the fact that it's brought down there. About even though that the Oilam is noiheg to go to the Kibbutz Avros, and they consider it. They say that the people who go consider it to be a kavod of. Ein zeh kavod amaze. So you're saying this? It's not the kavod amaze. Just because you think it is and you go and people go, it's not the kavod of the mace at all. That would allow it, since if it was a kavod amaze, then you could move it. So therefore, since it's not a kavod amaze, it wouldn't allow it to be matir, the removal, the moving of the dead person for this matter. Even that would allow the relatives to go there. So even if without moving it, that they would not be able to go to the burial plot at all. So if it's stuck in Ohio and they're never going to go there ever again, it's okay. because it's not for any matter of kavod that appears to somebody. So again, it's not a kavod. It's not the kavod of me, but I think it's a kavod for me to go there. So therefore, it's not for any kavod that appears to man that we allow to move the burial as is mefurish in the shach over here. So again, there are reasons why you are allowed to move them, because only because of the kavod of to bury him beside his own fathers. So if someone's buried in the wrong place, or he's buried beside sinners, so you move the burial then because it's a toiv for the mace for do as a kavod, and not because for some other type of kavod. And kol shekain, this kavod, because according to the Magen Avram, in the name of the Arizal, it's not fitting to go at all, and therefore it's also to move him, says Moshe Feinstein. So the comes out here that the Moshe Feinstein's holding here that according to the Arizal, brought him down in the halacha, that you should never go to visit dead people. You should never go to kavarim, and don't go to the graves of your ancestors. And seemingly again here it would include going to Avraham, going to Maris Machpelah, Kever Rachel, and all the Kever Rambam. Seemingly, these are all included in the Yisr.